Invincible flow, mystical fantasy, cultivation of immortality. The label was typed incorrectly. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. In the world of chess, all beings are chess pieces. I can see and play chess clearly. It is difficult to find an enemy in the world, it is only by shaping the enemy with one's own hands and working together with me to complete the overall situation of the world. Take a hard journey through the world. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. At 6 o'clock in the morning, in a small village, in a household. Xiaosheng struggled to climb out of the blanket, but even with all his strength, he couldn't move half an inch. Struggling for half a day, there was no movement. At this point, if you don't get up yet, are you planning to stop reading? A middle-aged woman asked anxiously with a hint of threat as the bedroom door was pushed open. No, no, no. After 3 consecutive rejections, the boy quickly got up and prepared to get dressed. With a playful smile on his face, he then said to the middle-aged woman. Mom, what time is it? Xiaosheng's mother said as she left the room. It's 6:30 now. Ah. Xiaosheng was shocked and then accelerated his pace of dressing. In the blink of an eye, it was already noon. Xiaosheng slowly walked out of the school gate with his classmates, carrying his backpack. Xiaosheng is a senior high school student studying in an ordinary high school in this town. The family is not considered poor, but they are also constantly trapped by money. Now that Xiaosheng is almost 18 years old, he is not necessarily taller than those 15 or 16 youths. His family is poor, and his meals mainly consist of potatoes. How can he have a tall body? At home, there is always a big fight over small things, but usually it's when Xiaosheng's father is at home. Xiaosheng's father works outside all year round and is busy with his family's 1 wife and 1 son. I just came home before the new year and was noisy for various reasons. After the new year, I went out to work again. Xiaosheng has also experienced this kind of life for nearly a decade. Perhaps numb or optimistic, he always maintains a smile and spends it like a Chinese New Year custom. Time flies, relationships between people constantly change, and one's identity changes time and time again. The only thing that Xiaosheng always remembers and doesn't understand is returning to the demon world. After lunch break, Xiaosheng once again set foot on the road to school. Many students in school have a happy expression on their faces, some are happy to play games today, and some are proud to finish their homework today. Most people may not expect that they will be in their 3rd year of high school, but they will have to face the seemingly important college entrance examination in 6 months. Xiaosheng lacks all his wisdom and will not understand how the college entrance examination in this world determines a person's life. He will never think of a college entrance examination that cannot determine a person's life. But he was still forced to cross the so-called single-plank bridge like 1,000 soldiers and horses at this critical moment. Did you do your homework, Hao? Xiaosheng asked from his desk mate. Me. What do you think? Xiaosheng asked his desk mate in reverse. The desk mate's evil charm smiled and then said, I think you wrote it. Then he began to reach out and take out Xiaosheng's backpack. Ah. You kid, you don't even bring homework home, do you? My desk mate saw that Xiaosheng's backpack was empty. Xiaosheng chuckled and said, how could I personally handle this small assignment? While the two of them were playing and frolicking like this, other classmates also walked into the classroom one after another. Subsequently, a tall and rosy-faced female classmate walked in with a smile on her face. After catching a glimpse of her from the corner of Xiaosheng's eye, he immediately made a voice and asked. Zhang Lu, have you finished your math homework yet? I saw Xiaosheng's desk mate also turn around and say, hey. Zhang Lu, lend me a copy for now. I was just scolded by the teacher today, and if I fall into his hands again this afternoon, I'm afraid I'll have to finish it. After speaking, he looked at Zhang Lu with a crying face. I've written it, I'll give it to you when I sit down, Zhang Lu said softly, then sat down in her seat and began to search. Zhang Lu can be considered a great beauty in Qiu Hao's class. Tall and slender, with a standard oval face, single eyelids, and small lips. Although not as charming as other beauties, she still relies on her simple temperament and gentle personality to attract peers to perform in front of her, and has many admirers. Qiu Hao is not tall and has an ordinary appearance. He also has single eyelids and some acne scars and pits on his skin. He is an ordinary person in the crowd. Naturally, there is no desire to pursue Zhang Lu, only a private admiration for her. Then, stepping into the classroom door was another class flower-level girl. Li Lu. Coincidentally, Li Lu and Zhang Lu. They have been good friends since childhood. Their names are so similar that even their classes from childhood to adulthood are the same. The two of them have a good relationship from childhood to adulthood and are also classmates. I don't know if the two have a good relationship because they are in the same class and at the same level. It's still because of a good relationship that I'm in the same class and at the same level. Li Lu walked happily to the classroom and then saw Zhang Lu with a happy expression on her face. I asked Zhang Lu, Lu, I can't do the last math homework question. Can you teach me? By the way, I'll borrow your homework to check if the one I did earlier is correct. Listening to the last sentence, Qiu Hao's face showed a sinister smile. At the same time, Qiu Hao's desk mate had a worried expression on his face. Qiu Hao, this desk mate, is not ordinary. His appearance is almost the same as that of Qiu Hao, but his height is slightly lower than that of Qiu Hao. In this situation, Qiu Hao believed that he would also have a sense of fear towards beautiful women like himself, without any illusions, and be honest friends. But he not only had no such thoughts, but also felt that if he liked it, he should pursue it with all his might. If not, it can also be an experience. Ha ha ha, Viagra. It seems like you're destined not to finish your homework today. Qiu Hao spoke without any disguise. First, ridicule his desk mate Wang Wei. Secondly, I also want to take this opportunity to remind Zhang Lu that she agreed to Wang Wei first. San Lai also wants Li Lu to pay attention to first come, second served. Although Qiu Hao thought this way, he also understood that the relationship between Zhang Lu and Li Lu might not concern Wang Wei's feelings. Laugh your butt, the teacher said it today. Our desk mates supervise each other, and whoever can't finish their homework will sit together. Qiu Hao's desk mate Wang Wei looked gloating. You. Qiu Hao gritted his teeth and pretended to be angry. For another moment, he switched his expression and said with a playful smile, I know, I heard. I didn't sleep in class again. Then you're still laughing, Wang Wei said sadly. At the same time, Zhang Lu and Li Lu, as Qiu Hao had thought, ignored them both. After Zhang Lu took out her homework, she handed it directly to Li Lu. Li Lu did not react to the previous tapping and immediately returned to her seat to correct her mistakes after receiving Zhang Lu's homework. Guess what? I didn't do my homework today, mainly because I was afraid I might get beaten. You didn't get beaten, Qiu Hao said to Wang Wei with a gloating expression on his face. After speaking, Wang Wei pointed to Qiu Hao. Then the two began to frolic. Before the two of them could start playing, Li Lu ran to Wang Wei and placed her homework on his desk. Sorry, Wang Wei. I just wanted to see if I was doing the right thing first. I didn't mean to take my homework book ahead of you. Qiu Hao's mind went blank for a moment when he was suddenly slapped, and Wang Wei also smiled foolishly at Li Lu with a happy expression on his face. It's okay. I've been copying it for a long time, just give it to me when you use it, Wang Wei said as he watched Li Lu leave. What are you waiting for? Quickly copy. If you get beaten later, don't blame me, Wang Wei proudly said to Qiu Hao. The next moment, the two of them immediately took out their homework books and desperately copied. Jin's has 50 inexplicable strings, 1 string and 1 pillar, reflecting on the years of prosperity. Xiaosheng dreams of being lost in butterflies, and hopes that the emperor's spring heart supports the cuckoo. Where is Dream Duke Zhou? Asked the Chinese teacher jokingly as a book hit Xiao Hao's head. Xiao Hao awkwardly scratched his head, speechless. Stand up and listen, the Chinese teacher said calmly. Later, I also talked to my classmates about the college entrance examination and my life afterwards. The teacher always uses his own experiences to make fun of everyone, and then incorporate some insights into life into the story. Reading is a fair means for us to compete with others. You are still young, and I'm afraid you won't understand if we talk too much to you. In the future, when we enter society, you will realize the importance of fairness. The Chinese teacher once again spoke in class. The strong wind drifts in the white sun, and the scenery flows westward. There is still half a month left until the college entrance examination. During this period, Xiao Hao still did not suppress anything. Everything is fair in the world, while other students work hard and struggle, while some students face the college entrance examination as ordinary. How can we not distinguish people into different levels? After speaking, Xiao Hao continued to search for ways to break through space as usual, hoping to return to his own world. The wind and moon are beautiful, and the world is also romantic. But this is not the world of Xiao Hao, it is the world where he uses other people's bodies to squander their time. Although Xiao Hao had long been numb to the friction between his parents at home, the huge expectations of his parents made it difficult for him to accept. Xiao Hao was afraid that one day his sudden disappearance would cause his parents to work tirelessly for him. It's better to find a way to leave early and prepare in advance to avoid the second old man feeling heartbroken. For some reason, Xiao Hao sensed that he would eventually leave this world on his own, but he did not know the details. Speaking of this matter, although Xiao Hao does not belong to this earthly thing, with the help of the human body, there is also everything about humans. He can always learn something about going back in people's so-called dreams. Nowadays, this situation is becoming increasingly frequent, and the way to return to his previous continent is becoming clearer. He was preparing while searching for a solution. I am afraid that one day I will suddenly leave, which will be difficult for my family to accept. I don't know where it started, but it goes deep. Xiao Hao, who was originally a god in the demon world, suddenly came to this world. Faced with all sorts of things here, there is a feeling of reluctance and reluctance. Old friends bid farewell and return today. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Thinking of these things, Xiao Hao tossed and turned with a headache, and he was moved by everything in this world. Not willing to leave, but having to leave. But Xiao Hao only knows one thing and not the other. The complexity of relationships in this world is not something he can live up to like this. But Xiao Hao didn't know, nor would he have thought of it. Just as Xiao Hao once again fell asleep, the method of his return this time was even clearer. Xiao Hao woke up from his dream and murmured a sentence. It's hard to imagine such a thing in the world, just because we're trapped here, let's be a common person. The next morning, Xiao Hao, who was still as tired as an old dog, had a particularly clear goal this time. However, thinking about it, how could he easily leave this world with reluctance? In class, Xiao Hao still slept soundly, and his classmates remained silent in class. Teachers and classmates are like people from two different worlds, living in their own spaces without disturbing each other. In the second half of the third year of high school, the school temporarily decided to divide students into two groups based on their grades, which can also launch a special plan to increase the undergraduate rate of the school. It is said to be a special plan, which means that we should not let the poor students affect the students who want to learn anymore. A young man should have the ambition of a swan, and ride a fine horse on a flat river. After waking up, Xiao Hao read the banner above his head and then changed his position to continue sleeping. In my heart, I thought to myself, what a swan's ambition, a wonderful one to step on the flat river. But I won't go. Because Xiao Hao was sleeping during class one after another today, the homeroom teacher failed to discuss and, at Xiao Hao's request, sent him to the underperforming class. The next day, Chiu Hao also arrived at the so-called underperforming class as he had hoped. Looking at his familiar desk mate, he couldn't help but raise his lips and look at Wang Wei with a sinister smile. Despite the teacher's angry criticism of Chiu Hao in class and his audience's attention from the podium, he still looked at his classmates below and listened to the teacher's hard work. Look, even if you're assigned to the same class, you're not working hard. You still can't keep up with others, not compared to those you look down on. Although our background and status may not be as good as others, as long as we work hard, we can still catch up with others. But if we don't work hard, we can only be left behind by others. After speaking, the homeroom teacher of the poor class looked at Chiu Hao in anger. Delayed in letting Chiu Hao return to his seat. Chiu Hao thought to himself, a good homeroom teacher, I don't want to either. I'll be leaving soon, let me enjoy myself. In my third year of high school, I'm really tired. After class, facing inquiries from his classmates, Chiu Hao was not ashamed but rather proud, and passionately recounted various experiences of going to the first class. Like an undercover agent sent to a team, he returned today loaded with honor. Time flies quickly, and the college entrance examination is imminent. Chiu Hao still didn't think of a way to escape. In the last dream, Chiu Haoming appeared. Only when one dies can one leave this world. It's easy to say, but there are also many unwillingness mixed in, which makes it difficult for Chiu Hao to face. If there are other ways to preserve his body and keep him alive, it is also a comfort to his family and friends around him. At that time, it would only be as if Chiu Hao had lost his memory and forgotten the trivial matters before. However, after he left, Chiu Hao in this world would completely leave, with no other choice but to shed tears for his family. It's only Chiu Hao's fault for giving birth to these endless love threads, constantly chopping and unruly, which made Chiu Hao very helpless. Hee, a sly laugh came, and a handsome boy walked in front of Chiu Hao. Looking at this person again, it was Jiabu Fai, a senior ally of Chiu Hao. Jiabu Fai, originally named Jiapeng, was called his loyal ally Jiabu Fai after Chiu Hao read a sentence from Dream of the Red Chamber, Jiabu fake by you as Tang Jin's horse. Watching Jiapeng walking towards him, Chiu Hao became even more frustrated. Jiapeng has a 10-year friendship with him at least. The two have had a fate since elementary school. From the first grade of elementary school, Chiu Hao became Jiapeng's little follower. Whenever something happened, Jiapeng covered up for Chiu Hao. Jiapeng continued, when will you go back? Chiu Hao was suddenly startled and his body cooled from head to toe. Seeing that Chiu Hao didn't respond, Jiapeng asked again, speak up, it's almost 6 o'clock now. Why don't you go home yet? Chiu Hao finally understood. At this point, he had been sitting in the classroom for half an hour, although it was still early, it was already too late. This is not waiting for you, old man, Chiu Hao joked. You can pull it down, I'm right at the school gate. Are you still waiting for me? Jiapeng responded. Chiu Hao was loading a book while saying, yo, at the school gate. What do you want? Hey. Tell your kid not to leave after school, and you'll hide in the classroom for me. Do you think I won't be able to find you? Jiapeng said, trying to hit Chiu Hao. Then the two finished packing up and left the school together. This time we met, it was Jiapeng who encouraged Chiu Hao to study hard and take the college entrance examination seriously. Jiapeng did not meet his expectations for the college entrance examination and was not in the mood to repeat his studies. He then started working early to earn money. However, Chiu Hao took a 1-year leave of absence from school due to illness in his sophomore year of high school, which allowed him to separate from Jia Buki and make new friends. Faced with heavy affection, deep concern, and eager anticipation. How does this make Chiu Hao leave, but this time's departure seems to be beyond his control. In his dream, it seemed that Chiu Hao's departure was either on the 1st or 15th day of junior high school, and he couldn't control it at all. As his thoughts deepened, Xiaohao had no choice but to once again have deeper doubts about his journey. I feel like someone deliberately threw me into this world, and when the time comes, I pull back to my original world. The feeling of being manipulated by others became even more intense, which made Xiaohao have a desire to bow down and serve the powerful. The idea passed in a flash, followed by a decisive decision on emotions. The ending is always unsatisfactory, getting to know each other is already a sign. Now it seems that everything in the world, all the choices we make now are the best choices we can make, without exception. If you don't think so, then it's what you think. After having thoughts in his heart, Xiaohao fell into a deep sleep, and when he woke up, tears had already soaked his pillowcase. Strange feelings don't belong to me either. There is a virtue in heaven, but my repeated separations are so hard to part with. Maybe I don't belong to this world, Xiaohao thought silently to himself. Never have to talk about how to lose, already have to talk about how to let go. Xiaohao still appeared cheerful in front of his classmates, but he still wore a worried expression on his face. My mother always thought it was because of academic pressure that Xiaohao hesitated all day. And Xiaohao also felt sad that he couldn't fulfill his parents' wishes. His parents, like ordinary parents, want to leave everything beautiful for their children. But their actions and ideas have already created a generation gap with their children, often leading to arguments between parents and children. In the following days, the National College Entrance Examination, which was highly valued by the whole country, arrived. Classmates arrived at the examination room one by one, surrounded by their parents, waiting for relaxation after the college entrance examination. Parents also hold their best wishes for their children and look at them. Xiaohao's mother, like everyone else, gazed at his worried face, unsure of what was on her mind. After the college entrance examination, it should be time. Based on past experience, the occurrence of dreams is about 3 to 4 months later. I think the time is also around. Xiaohao thought carefully and then said goodbye to his mother before entering the examination room. A few days of exams also made Xiaohao forget his troubles briefly and focus on it. Although he will soon be pulled back to his previous world, Xiaohao still wants to test his achievements before leaving. Firstly, it is also for the cultivation of parents to have an answer sheet, and secondly, I do not want to have too much entanglement with my parents and teachers at this time. San Lai, I also want to experience what the so-called fate-determining exam will bring to him. When Xiaohao arrived outside the rental house, he heard his mother complaining that his father had not come to accompany his son while telling him that his son had been looking worried lately, as if he was under too much academic pressure. Upon hearing the father's accusation coming from the phone, it was blamed on the mother for bringing too much pressure to her son. During the mother's rebuttal, the two of them started arguing with each other. Xiaohao didn't stay much and then pushed the door in. After leaving with a word about going out to play, he left. Mother looked at Xiaohao's rare smile and nodded in agreement. Then she also relaxed her eyebrows and stopped arguing with her father. Xiaohao left the room and whispered to himself, "We should go settle everything, and then we'll leave. Come and go in a hurry." You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Looking at the night sky, the moon is bright and the stars are sparse. At the transition between youth and summer, Xiaohao had a joyful expression on his face, as if he had forgotten his troubles or if they had been resolved. Since ancient times, autumn has been desolate and desolate. I say that autumn is better than spring. Perhaps I won't be able to see the autumn that I love, said Xiaohao. He then jumped down the stairs, picked up the phone, and arranged for friends to have dinner and play. In the morning, the water flows eastward, and in the evening, the sun sinks westward. Xiaohao finally fulfilled his wish and bid farewell to his former classmates one by one after the last dinner together. After the dinner, they spent the whole night in an internet cafe with their close friends, sharing their hearts and giving each other the most sincere blessings. As the sun rose, the two of them also parted ways and went back to their respective homes. Goodbye. This sudden farewell was spoken by someone, or to someone. At the final critical moment, Xiaoheng made an excuse to go out and play. Appearing in front of my parents again was already covered in scars, with a faint breath supporting my chest and falling together. Xiaoheng was hit by a car, and due to physical exhaustion, he didn't pay attention to the traffic, followed by an accident. My mother was undoubtedly scared unconscious, even though she had already heard about Xiaoheng's tragic situation in the police's mouth. But seeing it again, I still couldn't erase the fear in my unhappiness. That's it, I'm willing to take on all the responsibility and hospitalization expenses, and the responsibility for this matter lies entirely with me. I'm sorry. A driver said to Xiaoheng's mother at a loss, tears welling up in his eyes as he was frightened by the incident at the time. Oh, he's really a good big brother. He just did me a big favor like this. The voice in Xiaoheng's mind rang out, and he was also drowsy, unable to hold on. The next day, at 10 o'clock in the morning. Doctor, why hasn't my child woken up yet? Xiaoheng's father anxiously asked the doctor who came to check the room. I woke up quickly. The anesthesia was gone, and I woke up in about 10 minutes. If you don't wake up, come find me, and I'll be there. The ward doctor was also a bit anxious. The father nodded, but the mother wanted to ask something else. Afraid of speaking too hastily and unable to speak clearly, he stopped asking. After more than 10 minutes, Xiaoheng slowly woke up and let out a soft sigh. How, you're awake, said the mother as if she had let go of a stone in her heart. Listening to the familiar voice, Xiaoheng suddenly woke up and looked around in fear. I saw clean and flawless walls around, 2 or 3 hospital beds, and 7 or 8 people. Talking and laughing with each other at the bedside of the patient, comforting the patient, exchanging medical conditions with the family members of other patients, and talking about common household matters. Another sigh came. A man is a big man, why are you always sighing? Xiaoheng's father scolded him with a sigh. The child has just finished the surgery. Please speak well, the mother then scolded her father. Xiaoheng stared at the 2 people in front of him, feeling both sad and happy, unable to help but laugh and cry. Later, his father gave a lesson and asked Xiaoheng, what did you do? Did you get a car collision? You're out there, can you be more careful about safety? Xiaoheng smiled awkwardly and made an excuse to say that there were no traffic lights on the road. He didn't see many cars and went straight over. Who knew there was a car coming out at another intersection? My father also listened helplessly to the story. After Xiaoheng was hit by a car, people around him immediately reported to the police. Later, when the police arrived, they contacted their parents and an ambulance. After going back and forth, he forgot about the most serious victim of the car collision, Xiaoheng, who was taken to the hospital and had already lost a lot of blood. No wonder I thought I had succeeded. I didn't expect to think too much, Xiaoheng muttered to himself. My mother also happily said, fortunately, the car hasn't started yet, and you only injured the inner side of your knee. Unfortunately, the calf nerve was. What are you telling your child about this? The doctor has already undergone surgery and everything is fine, the father accused his mother. Xiaoheng listened inexplicably to the bickering between his parents, and everything beside him was also joyful. I was so scared that I fainted at the time. The police immediately contacted your father. Your father came back last night. It was almost 1 o'clock before he arrived. Xiaoheng's mother seemed to say to him, but her voice was very low, as if he had low hair and was dumbfounded. This accident did not even occur to Xiaoheng. But his plan was also crooked and could be carried out directly. Xiaoheng was weak and sickly since childhood. Often hospitalized for various minor illnesses such as colds. Although his body appears strong, he is also a person with a thin life, and a few serious illnesses can take half of his life. Although my mother often took Chiu Hao to see an old Chinese medicine doctor for examination, she couldn't find anything and could only prescribe a few pairs of tonics to strengthen the body and spleen for treatment. What worries Chiu Hao's parents the most? It's still Chiu Hao's tumor from the cerebellum. For some reason, although the hospital determined it to be a benign tumor, it did not have much impact on future life. But Chiu Hao could feel that it seemed to be due to the tumor, which gave him some talent, and he always ranked among the top in exams and studies. It seems that maybe I still have to rely on it, Chiu Hao said lightly. After staying for another day, Chiu Hao claimed to have a headache. The doctor conducted a detailed examination of Chiu Hao's brain, but it almost caused his mother to faint again. Is there really no other way, doctor? Chiu Hao's father asked unwillingly. Watching the doctor shake her head helplessly, Chiu Hao's mother finally couldn't hold back and complained to her father again in the hospital hallway. In the ward, Chiu Hao looked at the ceiling and was lost in thought, constantly thinking about the thing in his mind. Completely natural. Completely natural. The sentence echoed in my mind. I can't help but think about it again. It seems that I have been manipulated by someone. Where exactly is the problem? But, it's strange. Chiu Hao's mind twisted as he thought. Ha ha ha, it's really funny. I can be counted on. This is helping me, but helping me this. It's really a fairy. It's really a fairy. Fairies are just like that. Chiu Hao couldn't help but laugh and mutter nonsense again. Doctor. This. As soon as Chiu Hao's mother arrived at the door of the ward with the doctor, she heard him say something incomprehensible every word. This should be a side effect of tumor deterioration. After pausing, the doctor added, this situation is quite serious, so it's better to prepare early. I've told you before, the tumor in your son's head is like someone else forced it in. There's no sign of growth. And the doctor did not continue because other doctors had already told Chiu Hao's parents many times about what was going on. The tumor in Chiu Hao's head could deteriorate at any time, directly leading to death. Chiu Hao also knew everything in his last dream. I left because my tumor worsened, not because of a car accident. But that was a dream that Chiu Hao had just had yesterday. How could it quickly become a reality? Chiu Hao thinks it will take another 3 months for it to happen, so isn't he just in college? This also invisibly adds a lot of inconvenience to Chiu Hao's parents. Hey! I'm so stupid. I've been like this and still want to go to college. There are still 3 months left, so have fun. I believe they will also agree to let me spend the last time happily. Chiu Hao muttered again. After observing in the hospital for a week, Chiu Hao left with his parents. During this period, although the driver who collided with Chiu Hao did not come much, he also paid all the fees. This also made Chiu Hao's mother want to take this opportunity to have his father add the medical expenses for treating tumors to the compensation for the car accident. Because the treatment and diagnosis of tumors after a car accident is also a significant expense. Chiu Hao's father was ultimately unable to save face and did not agree. The good times didn't last long, during the time when Chiu Hao went home to rest, in the quiet of the night. One night, Chiu Hao never dreamed again, and the next morning, his mother never woke him up again. But it hasn't been 3 months yet, it's only been a short 5 days. I came with a tumor, but now I'm going back because of it. Ha ha ha, did you want me to save the world when you asked me to go back? Why is there a problem in the demon world that you can't solve? Hurry up, hurry up. This time bomb of yours is called Hurry Up. It's really hurry up and down, ha ha ha. As Chiu Hao finished expressing his thoughts in his heart, he also watched as his body and soul gradually drifted away. Returning to the old place and feeling even more timid. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Come on, come on. Stop playing. Look at this person. The speaker was a chivalrous figure dressed in linen and holding a long sword. Along with it came a woman dressed in blue, with a veil on her face and a long sword that was the same as a man slung across her waist, but carrying a bow and arrow bag on her shoulder. Do you know? The woman was puzzled. This little brother is still young, how could he appear in this wild beast-infested Jinzhou forest? Guess he's not the young master of any family, right? Young master, are you wearing this outfit? The woman sneered. Hey, what if? Even if I can come here at a young age, I'm not weak. If I save him, maybe he will give us a generous reward. After all. Yes, after all, you saved someone's life, the woman mocked. The man stopped answering. But rather search on Xiao Hao. After searching for nothing, I looked disappointed and said, okay, there's nothing. There's not a single weapon. I can tell at a glance that there are no weapons, right? You still found out that there are no weapons. The woman was shocked. Alright, put him in a safe place, let's go hunting. The man put Xiao Hao in a safe place, threw a water bag, and then threw down his exclusive marker. You really have a heart, and you still want him to repay you. The woman was helpless. After the two of them left, Xiao Hao quietly stood up. I scanned my eyes for a week and only dared to take action when I found no one around. Ah, Xiao Hao sighed. After Xiao Hao finally left that world, he returned to the demon realm in the blink of an eye. It has been an unknown number of years since Xiao Hao left the demon world. Although the current demon world has changed from what Xiao Hao remembered, it is not as revolutionary as before. As Xiao Hao stood up and took a sip of water, he slowly felt his emotions and desires disappearing. Haha. Xiao Hao felt helpless again. Sure enough. Xiao Hao seemed to understand something. Standing between heaven and earth, Xiao Hao's strength was slightly restored. He set off towards the depths of the forest, hoping to find something to eat. World of Warcraft, a world where most of the continent is controlled by Warcraft. On this continent, there are demons, humans, ghosts, and beasts. The demon race is the strongest, while the beast race is the weakest. Demons are born demons, and cultivation can turn them into demons. People are born human, and after death, they can transform into different fierce ghosts based on their strength. Beasts are created by heaven and earth, just like humans, but they also truly die after death. It is widely circulated in the demon world that people can enter the divine realm after continuous cultivation. Although God cannot interfere too much with human causality, he can also intimidate the demon race. If God does not strike, he can strike and inflict heavy damage on the demon clan, bringing temporary peace to the human world. It is not easy for demons to cultivate into demons, so when there is a God in the human world, they will not clash with the human race. This is over, Xiao Hao has found several bird eggs. Oh no, there's no lighter. I want to learn from Robinson. A hint of sadness appeared on Xiao Hao's face. Raw food is no longer something that people like Xiao Hao who have lived in a civilized world can do, but currently there is nothing to cook it. I didn't expect to be stumped by 2 bird eggs today. Xiao Hao couldn't do it, so he had to carefully carry the bird's egg and continue moving forward. In fact, moving forward is no longer useful. Apart from eating some fruits, he can't possibly eat cooked food when encountering anything. The only thing Xiao Hao wanted to do was to see if he could meet those 2 people before. The reason why I didn't make friends with him at first is that I haven't regained my strength yet, so I have a strong defense against others. Secondly, I am not clear about what is happening in the demon world today and cannot view it with innocence. From the conversation between those 2 people before, it can be seen that they did not pose any threat. Now, looking for them can be considered finding a guide, not like a headless fly. After walking forward for a quarter of an hour, Xiao Hao suddenly fell to the ground, his mouth and nose covered. Xiao Hao's angry eyes widened, staring intently at the man in front of him, just about to struggle. I saw the man suddenly stand up and charge towards a small deer with a swift step. The deer panicked and was about to escape when a flying arrow hit its shoulder. The little deer endured pain and was about to escape when he was stabbed in the back leg by a man. Then the man pounced and hugged the little deer, laughing heartily. "Little brother, why are you still walking inside?" the man said with a smile on his face. Xiaoheng looked puzzled and saw another woman emerging from somewhere. "If someone wants to go there, do you also have to take care of it?" the woman said. Upon hearing the sound, Xiaoheng looked and seemed to understand that these were the two people before him. Xiaoheng quickly bowed and was interrupted by the man before he could open his mouth. "Hey, little brother. How come you're still following the old routine? There's no need for that." After speaking, he put a sword in his throat and threw the little deer to the ground. "My name is De Long, and this is my sister Erfeng." "Ha ha ha, thank you, brother De Long and sister Erfeng. I came here to find you both and repay your kindness in saving lives," Xiaoheng said immediately upon hearing this. A golden light emerged from the big longan, and I turned to look at the two phoenixes. "Hee, give a smile." "So, I wonder who the little brother is," asked the dragon. "Hey, I am a commoner and now I am helpless. But rest assured, the kindness of saving my life is unforgettable. I also have some skills, and I can go hunting with you and give you all the gains." Xiaoheng said it. Suddenly, I realized that I was no longer the same as before. I really had no name or surname, and how could I make the two people in front of me believe me? I didn't feel like scratching my head. "Okay, that's okay," said Erfeng. Upon hearing this, De Long was immediately disappointed. The child in front of him, not many or 16, had no power or influence. It was good if he didn't help him, but he even spoke out wildly to help him. De Long awkwardly scratched his head and said, "Since both the two phoenixes have spoken, I also welcome the young brothers to join." Subsequently, Xiaoheng suddenly felt a damp sensation coming from his pocket, and then he reached for it and took out a few broken bird eggs. De Long laughed heartily, as if he understood something, and quickly apologized to Xiaoheng, who also laughed along. After Xiaoheng and the two of them returned home, Erfeng packed up and rarely spoke. But De Long kept talking, as if unwilling to accept the mediocrity of Xiaoheng. "Oh, there's nothing I can do. Nowadays, the rule of the demon world is even more severe, and who can prevent our clan from having the birth of divine realm talents again?" With Xiaoheng's careful inquiry, De Long opened his conversation box. "Humph." The big dragon angrily pounded the wooden table. Originally, the ghost clan was an ally of the human clan, but the demon clan bewitched the ghost clan, either killing or luring them. Alas, the ghost clan was completely dependent on the demon clan. "How many demon clans are there now?" Xiaoheng asked. "How many people?" "There may be more than 10, maybe more." De Long continued, "The demon clan found a human body in the divine realm and turned it into a killing machine for the demon clan. It also took out the heart of the human in the divine realm, saying that it contained a lot of energy and had helped the demon clan achieve dozens of demon gods." After listening, Xiaoheng continued to ask, "Big dragon brother, this ghost tribe. Hey, you know that after our human race dies, we become ghosts. But guess what? Some people would rather commit suicide and become ghosts than become part of the human race." The dragon was extremely angry and couldn't speak for a while. Xiaoheng asked no more questions and fell into contemplation with the dragon. "Come and eat something, little brother." The silence was interrupted by Erfeng's soft voice. De Long quickly said, "Oh my, I forgot to tell my brother. My sister is not ordinary, not to mention her strong martial arts skills, and her cooking skills are also unfathomable. Since our siblings' parents were killed by the ghost tribe, she has been taking care of me ever since. I am responsible for hunting, and Erfeng is responsible for cooking and cooking. She is skilled at cooking." "All right." Erfeng lowered her head. "That's right, Erfeng. I feel uncomfortable in my heart, said the Long with a hint of sadness in his words. Xiao Hao wanted to ask something, but he didn't know where to start. He didn't know how to say comforting words and could only remain silent. In the following months, Xiao Hao stayed at the dragon's house, following him into the forest to hunt. Although Xiao Hao had no intention of repaying the kindness of the dragon, he did not want to expose his strength and could only follow the dragon to do some trivial things. One day, while Xiao Hao was selling animal meat at the market, two middle-aged men walked towards him. "Little brother, how do you sell this meat?" one of the middle-aged men asked kindly. Xiao Hao saw business coming and immediately welcomed it. "What kind of meat do you want, uncle?" "There is deer meat, goat meat, and this," said Xiao Hao proudly, pointing to a piece of meat that emitted an iron-green color and introducing it vigorously. "This is the best meat to eat in the nearby forest. Green beef. I think you both know about green beef, and the taste is simply admirable." Xiao Hao was about to say something when another man waved his hand and interrupted him. "Well, Qingniu, there's no need to say more. It's this Qingniu, who killed it." "Of course it was me and my older brother who killed us," Xiao Hao said as he looked at the man. How old are you, little brother?" "Just turned 18, said Xiao Hao. Chapter 5. Returning to the Demon Realm and Showcasing Skills. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Upon inquiry from two middle-aged men, Xiao Hao slowly said, "My parents passed away early and were taken care of by my elder brother and second sister. There was no one else in the family, so I relied solely on hunting for a living." The two middle-aged men saw this situation and said in unison, "I wonder if you're interested in coming to Jinzhou College, little brother." "What's the origin of these two people?" "Jinzhou College. And what is it?" Xiao Hao thought to himself. Seeing Xiao Hao pondering, one of the men introduced him, "Little brother, I'm Qiu Bei, the teaching director of Jinzhou College. This is the vice president of the college. Bai Tingbo. Jinzhou College is a famous school in Jinzhou. We have several teachers with a rank of 1 or more immortals, and the principal has a rank of 6 immortals," Qiu Bei said excitedly. Xiao Hao questioned the level he had mentioned. "Harmful. You have already reached the 7th or 8th level of the position, don't you even know that?" Qiu Bei seemed to think that Xiao Hao knew the reason and didn't explain it too much. "All right, Lao Bei." Bai Tingbo stopped Qiu Bei's words. "Little brother, what's your name?" "Can you lend me your palm to take a look?" asked Xiao Hao in a low voice. "Uncle, my name is Qiu Hao." "Nah." As he spoke, Qiu Hao extended his palm and wanted to see what these two wanted to do. Bai Tingbo held on to Qiu Hao's palm for a while, seeming a bit excited. Then he said, Qiu Hao, "I just discovered through your bone growth that you are only 16, not 17 yet. Although you have 4 levels of Yao position, there is infinite energy surging in your body. I'm afraid you are a rare cultivation genius." Upon hearing Vice Principal's words, Qiu Bei was even more excited and couldn't help but secretly say to Bai Tingbo, "Look, you're not wrong. With the 4 people we found before, there are now 5 students. Are you a master among the people?" "Two uncles, I don't understand what you're discussing. I'm just selling meat and hunting, and my family doesn't have the money to go to school, right?" Xiao Hao said politely. No, Xiao Hao. No money, no money. As long as you are willing to come, our college is willing to give you 2 gold coins per year. How about that?" Bai Tingbo quickly explained. Qiu Bei looked at Bai Tingbo and carefully examined Xiao Hao. You should know that Bai Tingbo only waived all their tuition and miscellaneous expenses for the 3 children he met before, and allowed them to come to the college to study. But in the face of Qiu Hao, Principal Bai was even willing to take out 2 gold coins. "Ah. 2. Xiao Hao said in confusion. "That's quite a lot, Xiao Hao. 2 gold coins are enough for you and your brother and sister to live on. And there's no tuition fee, Bai Tingbo continued to explain. 3. Qiu Hao said calmly. Xiao Qiu Hao, that's not what you said, Qiu Bei quickly said. You should know that gold coins are not something that can be easily obtained, especially now that the human race is declining and the demon race is ruling a large amount of property. The entire Jinzhou College doesn't have many gold coins either. Xiu Bei thought, blaming Bai Tingbo for speaking too high. If you give him 10 silver coins, if Qiu Hao wants to add more, he can also add up to 20 silver coins. But speaking up is like gold coins, and even if Qiu Hao increases the price, it will only be based on the gold coins. Thinking of this, Qiu Bei said again, 2 gold coins plus 5 silver coins. Unexpectedly, while Qiu Bei was speaking, Bai Tingbo gritted his teeth and said, okay. Xiu Haopu grinned and quickly uttered 6 words. Deal, 3 gold coins. Qiu Bei paused and Bai Tingbo kept comforting himself, it's worth it, he's worth 3 gold coins. After a small incident, Qiu Hao told De Long and Er Feng about it when he returned home at night. After hearing this, the two of them were overjoyed. Qiu Hao was not sure about the value of the 3 gold coins, but the two of them knew very well. Although it's 3 times a year, even for the money De Long spends hunting and selling meat, he has to hunt and kill a green bull every 2 months. The green ox that was hunted last time was only hunted with the joint efforts of Qiu Hao and De Long, who set up various mechanisms and risked being swallowed by other wild beasts. And a green ox, all sold at a high price, only got 5 silver coins. 10 silver coins can be exchanged for 1 gold coin. In the following days, Qiu Hao accompanied De Long and Er Feng to Jinzhou College. At the entrance of the college, 2 people wearing black and brown clothes, holding long guns, stood on either side. Who are these people? One of the guards asked. Don't misunderstand, my younger brother has been guided by your college teachers to report to the college. This is the token of the vice dean of your college, said De Long with a hint of pride. After the security check, the gate of the college was opened. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect my little brother to be invited by Jinzhou Academy. I was a bit incredulous before, but as soon as I walked in today, I felt like Xiao Qiu Hao's skills were extraordinary. De Long exclaimed excitedly. Qiu Hao and Er Feng were both listening to De Long's chatter without interruption. As the 3 of them walked into the door, they saw a small piece of bamboo forest in front of them. On both sides of the bamboo forest were several buildings, and then we walked around the bamboo forest to see the full view of the college. Although not comparable to some colleges, it is also commendable. Continuing forward, I saw many people of the same age as Qiu Hao surging inside the building, probably the teaching building. Just as the 3 of them were dazzled, voices came from beside them. 3 people. Qiu Hao and his companions quickly heard the sound and searched for him, only to find that the person speaking was Qiu Bei that day. Teacher Qiu Hao bowed in greeting. Ha ha ha, at a young age, I value etiquette very much, said Qiu Bei happily. Teacher Qiu. De Long and Er Feng watched as Qiu Bei finished speaking and also greeted him together. Ha ha ha, you don't have to be polite. Follow me. I'll show you around. Qiu Bei smiled and couldn't close his mouth. Previously, Qiu Bei was somewhat puzzled by Bai Tingbo's decision, but later on, Bai Tingbo became even more admired when he shared what he had discovered with him. Although Qiu Hao's rank was lower than that of his peers, his body was full of energy, and what shocked Bai Tingbo the most was that Qiu Hao seemed to have an essential eye. The essential eye is the wisdom of seeing through all appearances. With the eye of essence, cultivation is often faster than that of ordinary people, coupled with the true energy in Qiu Hao's body. Bai Tingbo prophesied that Qiu Hao could reach the imperial throne level or even higher within a year and a half in the academy. Even if an ordinary person cultivates at the level of Qiu Hao, it takes 5 or 6 years, and no matter how good their talent is, it takes 2 years. But Qiu Hao's essential eye is extraordinary. The only thing that makes Bai Tingbo uncertain is Qiu Hao's talent. Although there are all these things, talent is not enough, and these things are a waste on Qiu Hao. Speaking of the Eye of Essence, the entire demon realm is known to everyone. Throughout history, all the great powers of the divine realm have possessed the Eye of Essence, and only after seeing through everything can they be promoted to the divine realm. In other words, whoever has the essential eye is definitely the person of the next divine realm. If Qiu Hao's talent is still good, then next year's Quanzhou Youth Competition can be amazing. I'm afraid Jinzhou College will also become famous. Qiu Bei calculated in his heart and took Qiu Hao and his 3 companions on a tour. This is the place where our teachers rest and work during their free time. Practice. What comes on paper is shallow, and if you know nothing about it, you must practice it. It's a good meaning, thought Qiu Hao in his mind. And this, passing by the stone gate from here, is the arena for our school's martial arts competition. Bamboo and stone. Even after grinding and striking thousands of times, it is still strong. Let the wind blow from east, west, north, south, and north. Qiu Hao thought again. Hey, I won't introduce too much either. Qiu Hao can gradually get to know each other in the future. You two can also visit at any time. We are all welcome, Qiu Bei said happily. The place is not big. Feng scanned for a week. Ah, ha ha ha. It's great, great. We'll come and visit frequently. The dragon quickly smiled awkwardly. This is indeed the case. After all, I'm not afraid of a few jokes. The college's strength in Jinzhou is relatively weak, and it has been difficult to recruit students in recent years. However, Qiu Bei dragged out his voice, afraid it would be like Qiu Hao turning back. We have a strong faculty, like some other schools. Although our rankings are much higher than ours, let's not just talk about the teachers. There are not yet 5 or more immortal teachers in the entire college. Even the immortal position is not high, said Feng coldly. Hey, why did you say that, little girl? Ordinary people, wanting to enter the immortal realm is like ascending to heaven. You. Before Qiu Bei could explain, Feng said again, my little Hao is as easy as a palm. Qiu Bei mute mouth. De Long immediately cleared up the situation and said, oh my, although Qiu Hao has exceptional talent, we still need someone to teach us. De Long thought that Feng was going to raise the price, while Qiu Bei thought that Feng was a hidden expert and had already seen through Qiu Hao's physique. But Feng was just afraid that Qiu Hao would be bullied and wanted the teachers in the college to pay more attention. At this moment, Qiu Hao remained silent and gently looked at Feng, silently gazing at the 3 of them, each harboring their own evil intentions. Chapter 6. Who governs the ups and downs in chaotic times? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. After a battle of wits and courage, Qiu Bei looked at the red and white face in front of him, feeling a lot of pressure, but fortunately, all the efforts were not in vain. Feng did not raise the price, and Qiu Hao also agreed to enroll in further studies. Qiu Bei breathed a sigh of relief and looked at the sun in the sky, feeling infinite melancholy in his heart. Qiu Bei is also a pitiful person. When he was a child, he was naturally intelligent, but he became playful and wasted a lot of time. At that time, although there were several wise men who wanted to help Qiu Bei succeed, it was ultimately fate that did not meet people's wishes, and young people did not work hard. Qiu Bei's background is not considered poor, but he will only be able to make a living. Both parents hoped that Qiu Bei could use his talent to forge a broad road, but at that time, the demon and demon tribes had a good relationship with the human race. Always providing the human race with abundant resources to assist in their cultivation, Qiu Bei believed that with his own talent and the natural resources and treasures of the demon race, he could easily break through the immortal position and become a saint. But that was ultimately a scam, as the demon and demon races wanted to use the short lifespan of the human race to completely disintegrate a generation. So they transported the so-called heavenly silkworm and earth treasure for nearly 200 years, but that day the silkworm and earth treasure contain true energy, but also mixed with ghost energy. There is not much ghost energy, but it can affect the operation of true energy in the body, and the impact is even greater after sunset. During the 200 years when the demon tribe transported heavenly materials and earthly treasures, the ghost tribe remained hidden from the world. The human race cannot detect it, only the strong of the human race can see the ghost energy of the treasure, but even a small amount of ghost energy can make the ghost race friendly with the human race. Who could have thought that the residue of ghost energy would cause great harm to the human body? 200 years later, the ghost tribe emerged and cooperated with the demon tribe to crazily slaughter the human race. The human race has ultimately survived, but no one knows the cost here. Since then, the human race has made rapid progress, constantly breaking through social classes. Nowadays, several powerful beings with 6 levels of the Holy Throne have emerged, and it is said that there are also 3 powerful beings with 8 levels of the Holy Throne who can control the human race and bring stability to the world. Xiaobei was also influenced by ghost energy, and his cultivation rapidly advanced to the 9th level of the imperial position at the age of 19. However, now that he is in middle age, he has only broken through 1 level and reached the 1st level of the immortal position. At the level of immortality, no matter how one cultivates, it has no effect at all, and the cultivation methods are constantly deteriorating. Although relying on day and night of hard cultivation, the degradation speed is extremely slow, but who can persist in not being defeated by this degradation torture? Xiaobei is not an exception, those great talents who have used items from the demon tribe. They all share the same illness, but only by constantly practicing hard can we slow down the rate of degradation. A young idler, an old beggar. Teacher Qiu, what class am I now? Qiu Hao asked in confusion. Well, Yao Wei. Are you sure you haven't learned any martial arts? Of course, I can't afford to buy martial arts at home, Qiu Hao answered seriously. That's not right either. You can sell some wild beast meat and buy the simplest sword technique and sword manual. You can enter the Yao position without learning a single technique. Just as Xiaobei was lost in doubt, a woman quietly arrived. Half-curved phoenix eyes hide amber, red lips have a dotted cherry. Teacher Qiu, who is this at this moment? The woman spoke softly. Xiao Hao looked at the newcomer and could be said, the hibiscus is not as beautiful as a beauty's makeup, and the wind in the water palace brings the fragrance of pearls and emerald. Hey, this kid. It's really strange. I don't know a martial arts technique, but he's also a Yao position, Xiaobei replied to the woman. Oh, that's really a strange person. The woman was shocked and covered her mouth. Yo, Shuer has also arrived. At this moment, Bai Tingbo walked slowly. Bai Tingbo stood in front of the 3 and introduced himself to Qiu Hao. This woman is my daughter, named Shuer, named by Shuer. She is also like you, with a rank of 5. However, she is 1 year younger than you, only 15 years old. I don't need to introduce myself, Bai Tingbo, the vice dean of the college. Ha ha ha. I'm Qiu Hao. Nice to meet you, sister Bai Shuer. I'm also very happy. I've heard my father say it a long time ago. As a talented young man in Jinzhou, seeing this situation today, I completely agree with my father's words, Bai Shuer smiled and said to Qiu Hao. What situation can you agree with? Bai Tingbo touched Bai Shue's hair with a smile and glanced at Xiaobei. Old Bai, Qiu Hao has not learned any martial arts, Xiaobei said excitedly. Oh, I've said it before. Brother Qiu Hao is not an ordinary person, so there's no need to measure him based on ordinary people's thoughts. Although our martial arts are not of high level, finding one for Xiao Qiu Hao to practice is more than enough. You can take Xiao Qiu Hao to the library to find one later, Bai Tingbo said calmly. Humph, you're still Xiao Qiu Hao, Xiao Qiu Hao. I didn't see you calling me Xiao Bai Shui either. Bai Shui seemed angry. Thank you very much for your kindness, Dean. Xiao Hao finished speaking and carefully examined Bai Shui. Ha ha ha, you. Take your little brother Xiao Hao to see the academy and prepare accommodation for him. Bai Tingbo then looked at Xiao Hao and said, Xiao Hao, you don't need to be polite. This is what the college should do. You can also go and familiarize yourself with the environment with Xiao Bai Shui. After entering the college, you also have to live in the college for better training and teaching, so you can go home once in 9 days. Can Xiao Hao adapt? Dean Xie is concerned, so I have to go home today to explain to my older brother and sister. I will return to the college tomorrow, Xiao Hao said earnestly. Bai Tingbo nodded and gestured for Bai Shui to take Xiao Hao out. Is it true that Xiao Hao has not learned any martial arts? Bai Tingbo quickly asked Xiao Bei as he saw Xiao Hao and his companions disappear from sight. Ha ha ha, I thought you old ghost really knew everything, but you hit it deep enough, Xiao Bei mocked Bai Tingbo. Speak clearly, Bai Tingbo was somewhat anxious. Ha ha ha, Lao Bai. We really have found a treasure. That little Xiao Hao really doesn't have any martial arts skills, and his internal qi circulation is incredibly smooth. I think his talent is not low, Xiao Bei said excitedly. Well, it seems that there is indeed the Eye of Essence. It is indeed extraordinary, but although people in previous divine realms have had the Eye of Essence, they have never broken through the Yao position without learning martial arts. Bai Tingbo also looked excited. That's right, so what did you say? That's the same sentence. Experts are in the folk. Xiao Bei couldn't resist his excited expression and patted Bai Tingbo's shoulder. At this moment, Xiao Hao and Bai Shui walked out of the room and went to the dormitory area together. Each building in our college has its own unique meaning. Do you know what this building means? Bai Shui asked Xiao Hao, teasing her. Sister Bai Shui, you haven't told me the name of this building yet, I can't guess, Xiao Hao scratched his head and said. Oh, hee. But even if I tell you, you may not be able to guess. Bai Shui chuckled. Sister Bai Shui may not be certain about this, it seems a bit lacking in confidence. It's a bit like I can guess. Hee, you have exceptional talent. My father also told me that you are extraordinary. Guess it. It's also possible. But I bet you probably won't guess. Bai Shui seemed to regain some confidence and proudly raised her neck. Then we need to ask for advice. What is the name of this building? Hee, this building is called. I won't tell you. After selling the level, Bai Shui ran away bouncing and jumping. Xiao Hao followed behind calmly. Sister Bai Shui, this is not the way to entertain guests, Xiao Hao said softly. Hee, okay. Actually, you can guess the meaning of this building. I know your abilities, it's called Lingyan Pavilion. Well, I understand. Why don't the man bring Wu Go and collect the 50 states of Guanshan? Please temporarily go to Lingyan Pavilion, like a scholar and a marquis of 10,000 households. Xiao Hao said slowly. My father thinks that although our strength is small, we must also remember the suffering that the demon and demon tribes have brought to the human race. Do you know about Guanshan? I don't know. Xiao Hao wanted to wait for Bai Shui to explain to him. Forget it if you don't know. You go to the dormitory, it's on the 2nd floor. You can see it once you go, and I believe with your intelligence, you should be able to solve it on your own. Xiao Hao nodded and turned his head before walking up to the 2nd floor. As the scenery on the 2nd floor caught Xiao Hao's eye, he also understood why Bai Shui had such words. There are 4 dormitories on the 2nd floor, each with a name, and Xiao Hao's name is the first one. Xiao Hao pushed the door open but couldn't open it. I was about to ask Bai Shui downstairs, but it seemed like I wanted to explore and send Qi to the entrance lock. As the true energy flowed in, the dormitory door gently opened, and Xiao Hao finally saw the display of the dormitory. After a brief sorting, Xiao Hao went downstairs to meet Bai Shui. Let me tell you, you can guess the meaning of the dormitory building. You can also open the dormitory door, Bai Shui said happily, pacing non-stop. Sister Bai Shui is very sarcastic, Qiu Hao chuckled foolishly. I don't have it, don't talk nonsense. Be careful that my father will teach me a lesson again, Bai Shui said anxiously. As the two of them chatted and laughed, they soon arrived outside the school gate. After saying goodbye to each other, Qiu Hao also returned home, the home he referred to. How could you be willing to let your precious little one accompany Xiao Hao? At this moment, Qiu Bei looked at the back of Qiu Hao's departure and jokingly asked Bai Tingbo. There's no such thing as being willing but not willing. Qiu Hao is a little capable, he's like Bai Shui climbing high. Don't say such things, Xiao Xue's talent is not bad. Qiu Bei turned to look at Bai Shui. At a young age, the eyes of nature. In this world, peace will eventually come. The human race can finally turn around, Bai Tingbo said slowly. Ha ha ha. I just want to laugh when I think about it. Who said it's not true? It's been 500 years, and the humiliation that our human race has suffered can finally be completely eradicated. Qiu Bei stared fiercely at the sky, gazing at the sun that was unwilling to set, like the first ray of sunshine after dark. Perhaps the human race really wants to welcome light. I just hope that you and I don't let Qiu Hao bury us. That's an unforgivable crime, Bai Tingbo turned around and looked at Bai Shui's bouncing figure. Go back, I won't, Qiu Bei patted Bai Tingbo. Chapter 7. Achieving True Emotions in the Divine Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Qiu Hao bid farewell to De Long and Er Feng and returned to the academy. After Qiu Hao left, Er Feng stared at his back for a long time and refused to leave. Alright, Erfeng, Xiao Hao is not going to come back. Don't be sad. De Long stood next to Erfeng, looking at Qiu Hao. He only knew us for a few months, and now he's giving us all 3 gold coins a year. He's going somewhere else to get some money for meals, Er Feng worried. The dragon remained silent for a long time. As Qiu Hao arrived at the second floor of the dormitory area, a classmate greeted him. He, this classmate must be Qiu Hao. The most talented young man in our school. The speaker was a chubby little man who was not tall and had a round physique. Do you know me? Qiu Hao asked with a hint of joy as he looked at the chubby little guy. I can't call you your excellency, my name is Zhu Yuyan. He. Oh, Yuyan classmate. Hello, Qiu Hao looked at him and also remembered that the person's name was written on the dormitory next to him. I'll live next door to you, please take care of me, brother Qiu Hao. Zhu Yuyan saluted respectfully. Some classmates praised me falsely, but I don't have much to do. However, we can also take care of each other. When I first came to the college, we also had a companion, Qiu Hao said politely. Oh my, it's only been a day and I'm tired of the old and new. With companions, I'm afraid I'll leave you behind. At this moment, Bai Shui walked up from the first floor and said behind Qiu Hao. He. Zhu Yuyan seemed to understand something and immediately smiled, where, I won't disturb you both. I just heard about brother Qiu Hao's reputation, so I came here to ask for his attention. Why did Bai Shui suffer from me? Qiu Hao smiled and scratched his head. I'm afraid our genius will forget me. Bai Shui pouted. Everyone burst into laughter, and Qiu Hao hurriedly assured Bai Shui that he would not forget her. In just a moment, Qiu Bei hurried over and took Qiu Hao to the library. Qiu Hao, what kind of martial arts and weapons do you want to learn? Our college library must have something that satisfies you, Qiu Bei proudly said to Qiu Hao in the library. Teacher Qiu, I'm not quite sure about these either. I haven't learned any martial arts before. Do you have any recommended techniques? Qiu Hao looked at the huge library, his eyes overwhelmed. In the library, there are various martial arts secret books displayed. This cultivation can be roughly divided into 3 levels, upper, middle, and lower. Only those with a rank of 5 or above can learn the superior martial arts, as they contain complex mental techniques. Those with weak mental abilities will inevitably experience chaotic flow of true energy, ultimately leading to the collapse and disappearance of true energy among the masses. This cultivation involves 1 cultivation of physical fitness, 2 cultivation of mental character, and 3 cultivation of soul. Before entering the immortal position, the main focus was on cultivating physical fitness and mental character, using qi to circulate within the body in unblocked meridians. Daily exercise can achieve the effect of physical fitness. In the wilderness and daily life, various difficulties and setbacks can be faced to forge a strong mental character. As for the final soul cultivation, only by stepping into the immortal position can one understand it on their own. Qiu Bei earnestly introduced to Qiu Hao. Teacher Qiu, I want to know if there are any techniques and weapons that can break through the surface with some points, Qiu Hao said casually. Qiu Bei was slightly puzzled. After thinking about it, Qiu Bei said, many weapons have the effect of breaking through the surface, such as guns, swords, halberds, etc. However, Qiu Hao patiently waited for Qiu Bei to express his thoughts without asking too much. However, according to your temperament, a long spear or other weapons are not suitable for you. Based on my observations in the past 2 days, you have a calm personality, and I think you can learn swordsmanship. Qiu Bei looked at Qiu Hao and said slowly. Qiu Hao nodded lightly and then, led by Qiu Bei, went to the first level of the medium cultivation method to select for him. You can be considered a good choice for defecation. You have a good temperament, exceptional talent, and have reached a high level without learning any martial arts. Therefore, your starting point is much higher than that of ordinary people, so you can directly learn intermediate martial arts. Qiu Bei said happily, as if this kind of good thing had happened to him. However, there are also drawbacks. Although you are not very old, you are relatively late compared to those who practice martial arts, and cannot compare to those wealthy children who have been practicing since childhood. In Jinzhou, you are considered a genius, but looking at the demon world, you still need to practice hard. Qiu Bei also said that Qiu Hao should not be arrogant and indulgent. Don't worry, Teacher Qiu. I will practice diligently, Qiu Hao solemnly replied to Qiu Bei. Subsequently, Qiu Bei nodded with satisfaction and continued to search for Qiu Hao in the martial arts secret script. After a search, I finally found the suitable cultivation method for Qiu Hao. Before making the selection, Bai Tingbo had already instructed Qiu Bei to ask Qiu Hao for his opinion, and it was possible that Qiu Hao must learn swordsmanship. The martial arts of Jinzhou College are mainly focused on swords, and it also possesses the secret techniques created by the Sword Saint. Bai Tingbo really wants to give the best to Qiu Hao and make him stand out from his peers from the beginning. Here you are, go back and intensify your cultivation. Follow the teacher to learn in the afternoon. The teachers in the college will also provide you with the greatest help. Qiu Bei handed a martial arts book to Qiu Hao. Autumn Frost Cutting Jade. Qiu Hao looked at the title of the book. This sword manual should meet your requirements. You need to cultivate all the things inside yourself, and your instructor also uses swords as weapons. As I mentioned before, there is a teacher from the immortal position in our college. He is one of them. Qiu Bei instructed Qiu Hao to say. Do you know my teacher's name? Qiu Hao asked Qiu Bei. He claims to be the sword immortal. Li Xiaosheng. However, he is just a lunatic, you will know in the future. Although he has a bad personality, his strength should not be underestimated. In the future, he should humbly learn. Qiu Bei was like Qiu Hao's father, giving careful instructions. Qiu Hao saw such instructions and felt some gratitude floating in his mind. As he looked at Qiu Bei, he nodded and agreed. 3,000 guests are intoxicated by the flowers in the hall, and with one sword, the frost is cold in 14 provinces. After the incident, Qiu Hao bid farewell to Qiubei. Looking at the academy, Qiu Hao also wanted to take a detailed tour. Facing this academy, Qiu Hao was always very curious. Since arriving in the demon realm, I have finally been able to settle down. Think carefully about the 18 years in the human world. Remembering those years is also a feeling of melancholy. Years are like songs, composing everything in the world. All that happens in the world eventually flows into this boundless time. What people want to keep in this long river, but in the end, it's all about drawing water from a bamboo basket. I don't know what happened to my parents in that world. How long has passed? Qiu Hao looked at the horizon and wandered through the Jinzhou Academy in the demon world. In a corner of the college, Bai Tingbo looked at Bai Shue's lowered head and comforted her softly. All right, Shuer. He is destined to be the one who achieves the throne in the future. Don't adopt such an attitude. Even if he is as you said, he has extraordinary talent. But ultimately, he is not my heart, father. Not to mention his plain appearance, but his social status, which gives him such an opportunity. Although Bai Shui was angry, she also thought about the fate of the human race and found it difficult to make a decision. His essential eye is truly invincible in the world. And according to legend, that essential eye can also be peeled off. Why not take advantage of his current limited strength and let's take out that essential eye? Bai Shui asked Bai Tingbo in confusion. Nonsense. Not to mention the cost of depriving the eye of essence, and besides, the fate of the human race now. The effect of depriving the eye of essence is completely insufficient to create a divine position, do you know? Bai Tingbo's eyes widened in anger. If it weren't for the urgent need of the human race for a person from the divine realm to resist the demon race, and if it were during the Taiping period, the essence eye would appear in the world, it would definitely attract the intervention of the powerful in the holy realm. People with essential eyes have long died in infancy. Looking at Bai Shui's dilemma, Bai Tingbo was also helpless. Faced with the fierce pressure from the demon race, the human race must unite as one, cultivate divine beings, in order to win new light for the human race. I believe that people from other states will do their best to help Qiu Hao break through the divine realm after knowing the Eye of Essence. If you follow Qiu Hao, you will also receive endless resources. At that time, breaking through the holy throne is just around the corner. If Qiu Hao reaches the divine throne, you will definitely be able to successfully break through the 5 layers of the holy throne with his help. Bai Tingbo looked at Bai Shui and slowly spoke with his hand on her head. For the sake of the human race. Why did the gods of the human race suddenly disappear? Let our human race suffer a great shame. White Snow let out a low growl of anger and pain. Chapter 8. First meeting of Sword Immortal Xiaosheng. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the afternoon, led by Bai Shui, Qiu Hao came to a huge classroom. Looking at the dense crowd, Bai Shui explained to Qiu Hao, everyone in the college will come here today to listen to the class. Today, we will mainly talk about some things about the human race and the demon race. Generally, it is mandatory for the college because both new and old students can understand it, so we will discuss it together. Qiu Hao nodded silently, wondering what had happened in the demon world after he left, causing the human race to be so miserable. Although he had learned a little about his life with De Long and Airphone before. But for a commoner, there are still some blind spots and information gaps in the world's development. Although the demon clan will no longer invade in front of the strong ones of our human race, no one can guarantee whether the demon clan will continue to become strong again. We should work hard to cultivate and revive the glorious moments of the past for the future of the human race. The teacher spoke passionately in front of the classmates. Now the demon clan is prepared, and the damage caused by those sugar-coated shells in the past cannot be resolved by several generations. Bai Shui looked at the teacher's statement and said helplessly. Although our human race continues to cultivate, we ultimately cannot resist the negative impact that the Lord of the Demon Realm has condensed with his lifelong skills. Now that the human race is declining day by day, I'm afraid that at some point, the human race will completely disappear from this demon realm. Bai Shui spoke and glanced at Xiao Hao with a hint of anticipation. Xiao Hao also glanced at Bai Shui, and then the two of them listened attentively to the teacher's lecture. Half an hour later, the teacher finally finished speaking, but it was still far from enough for Xiao Hao. Although he had no concern about the fate of the human race before, the current situation is special, which cannot make Xiao Hao want to find a way to revive the human race. Where are we going next? Xiao Hao stared at Bai Shui pacing ahead. Where to go? I don't know either. Now that the course is over, you can go to the library to study martial arts, or go to the tool platform to find a suitable weapon for you. Bai Shui playfully said to Xiao Hao. Could you please ask Sister Bai Shui to take me for a walk? Xiao Hao respectfully invited Bai Shui. Okay, Bai Xiaosheng quickly agreed. After speaking, he took Xiao Hao's arm and walked towards the tool platform. The crowd passing by saw Bai Shui holding on to Xiao Hao, and they all cast strange glances. This unknown young man unexpectedly approached the daughter of the vice dean. This kid has an average appearance and a pitiful figure. Surprisingly, he is also worthy of being with Snow White, someone whispered in the crowd. Without exception, a hint of disdain spread to Xiao Hao and Bai Shui. Brother Xiao Hao, don't listen to them talk nonsense. It's me who is next to you. I'll teach them a lesson later. Tell them to be talkative. Bai Shui glanced sharply at the crowd and turned to gently comfort Xiao Hao. No need. If you don't talk about human affairs when meeting people, then there are no people in the world. Xiao Hao replied with a gentle smile from Bai Shui. I didn't understand. Bai Shui was a bit puzzled. Don't pay attention to others, Xiao Hao said simply. Bai Shui was also shocked by the young man in front of her. She knew very well that if it were her, she would let the person who chewed her tongue know that she was not easy to provoke. But with just a few short sentences, Xiao Hao still had a gentle expression on his face, as if he was an outsider and what others were discussing had nothing to do with him. Unexpectedly, the two of them had already arrived at the platform. Facing the empty landscape of the platform, Xiao Hao was somewhat surprised. Before Xiao Hao could even express his doubts, Bai Shui saw that Xiao Hao's face was full of doubts and explained with laughter, I was just as confused as you at first. This instrument platform was personally cast by the Dean, and there is a magic array set up by the Dean on the platform. Once we go up, we can see clearly. Looking down from the platform, there is nothing on top. Xiao Hao also understood in an instant. After thanking Bai Shui for his explanation, the two of them stepped onto the stage. Why haven't you seen the barrier of the Dean all the way? Xiao Hao once again wondered. Because my father personally instructed me to bring you to the tool platform, and the barrier had already been opened. Bai Shui saw that Xiao Hao was puzzled again, so she smiled and explained to him again. The two of them walked into the platform, and in just a moment, hundreds of weapons were displayed in front of them. 18 types of weapons, complete in every way. The weapons are displayed in a small room, with intricate passages leading to unknown directions. The equipment is divided into 4 layers, and the top layer cannot be clearly seen under the sunlight. Only the weapons listed in the first 3 layers are reflected in the eyes of the two people. Faced with a dazzling array of weapons, Xiao Hao was also at a loss. Grandpa Li, Xiaosheng has come to visit you, Bai Shui shouted loudly. In less than half a quarter of an hour, an elderly man dressed in green stood behind the two of Xiao Hao. Little girl, you're deceiving me again. A strange voice rang out, and then it hit Bai Shui's head. That's not it. I just came to see you, Bai Shui quickly turned around and answered. Just before Bai Shui turned around, Xiao Hao immediately noticed and turned to face the old man standing with his hands down. Junior Xiao Hao, have you met Senior? After watching Bai Shui finish speaking, Xiao Hao arched his hand and said. It's not bad. The kid is a seedling, and Bai Tingbo was fortunate enough to have you come to Jianzhou College in his previous life. After the old man finished speaking, he passed by Xiao Hao and walked up to the center of the stage. The space on the platform is narrow, and the weapons filling the room make it even more crowded, so the center can accommodate 2 or 3 people standing. The old man then turned to Xiao Hao and said, I am Li Xiaosheng. Currently, I have a 5th level immortal position. Do you think I am qualified to teach you? I dare not make mistakes. Xiao Hao quickly lowered his head and arched his hand. I'm not afraid to tell you that your opportunity is rare in 100 years. People in the world can bow down to you, and you don't have to be so polite. Li Xiaosheng waved his hand and said. Although opportunities are good for the younger generation, they are also wholeheartedly focused on the rejuvenation of the human race. Without any hesitation, said Xiao Hao, maintaining his movements. Anyway, from now on, you can come here and learn swordsmanship with me, Li Xiaosheng said and disappeared into this small room. Xiao Hao had many questions in his heart and had not yet consulted, when he saw Li Xiaosheng disappear out of thin air. Let's go. Let's go to a fun place first, Bai Shui said to Xiao Hao when she saw Li Xiaosheng disappear. Why did Senior Li suddenly disappear? Although Xiao Hao knew that when the human race reached a certain level of cultivation, they had the ability to become extraordinary and holy, this ethereal disappearance technique still left Xiao Hao somewhat shocked. You will know later. Grandpa Li's swordsmanship is beyond people's reach. He also cultivates a technique that can move instantly. He should have been using that technique just now. Bai Shui explained to Xiao Hao while taking him out of the tool platform. I don't know how to distinguish what level others have reached. Xiao Hao asked Bai Shui with some confusion. Previously, he had been assisting the dragon and phoenix in hunting and had not inquired about many matters in the demon realm. Moreover, with Xiao Hao's own strength, it is difficult to find opponents in the demon world, and there is no need to know these things. But now in order to walk in this demon world, one needs to hide their strength, which creates many conditions and inconveniences. Alright, you don't even know how you practiced it. Bai Shui suddenly showed a sense of surprise and asked Xiao Hao in confusion. Xiao Hao just scratched his head awkwardly, stuttering and unable to say anything. It's not that Xiao Hao didn't say it, it's just that he himself doesn't know how he was measured by others at the level of the Yao position. Generally speaking, Yao position is only stronger than an ordinary person's body and can use martial arts to fight. Once reaching the position, one can control objects, but it is only some weapons and cannot achieve the ability to move mountains and fill the sea. The Immortal's position will have obvious characteristics. Those below the 6th level of the Immortal's position enter the fairyland. They can expose their true energy, and their true energy also has substance, which can achieve the effect of flying and gliding. The peak of the 6th to 9th level of the Immortal realm is the ability to step on weapons and fly them. As for the Holy Throne, it is divided into 9 levels, each with a level difference. Each level has its own unique features, and I haven't seen many of them yet. I've only seen a Holy Throne with the power to move 10 miles in one step, like a fish in the water in the air, flying in the air without any support. Bai Shui spoke with great admiration, and Xiao Hao carefully noted it to avoid making mistakes in the future. When do you think we can reach that level? Bai Shui once again took Xiao Hao's arm and looked at him excitedly. I don't know, nowadays there is a conflict between humans and demons. Anyway, the faster you arrive, the better. Xiao Hao looked at Bai Shui and said quietly. Chapter 9. The Facial Expressions of the Houshan Valley. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. We went to the tool platform just now, didn't we have something to do? Xiao Hao looked at Bai Shui and said slowly. Didn't I take you to become a teacher? Bai Shui was puzzled and forgot so quickly after speaking. Bai Shui began to doubt whether Qiu Hao's mind was not very good. Well, I hope so. Qiu Hao shook his head and walked forward. He's really a strange person, Bai Shui murmured in her heart, but she didn't dare to show anything, so she immediately followed Qiu Hao. Ah! We really need to go to the equipment station. Bai Shui took a few steps and suddenly exclaimed in surprise. It's okay. I'll go find the teacher again tomorrow to find a weapon. It's getting late today, let's go play first. Qiu Hao didn't turn his head back, calm as water, unsure of what was on his mind. Brother Qiu Hao, I'm sorry. Bai Shui's face was filled with guilt. Don't worry, let's go. Didn't you say you took me to a fun place? Qiu Hao touched Bai Shui's hair and spoke softly. The temperature in Qiu Hao's palm instantly spread to Bai Shui's scalp. Bai Shui seemed to have an indescribable feeling, but it didn't seem like love either. For some reason, under Qiu Hao's palm, Bai Shui felt a warmth surge in her heart, but after a moment, this feeling disappeared from her heart. The reason for this is simply that Bai Shui's feelings for Qiu Hao were all put on. The human race is in a slump, and who doesn't want to be this savior is not only respected by thousands of people, but also to save the fate of the human race. During the reign of the demon clan, when the demon clan was rampant, the human clan was exceptionally united, which was also an important reason why the demon clan could not defeat them for a long time. Hee, we'll go later. That's a snack street, we'll have to wait until tonight to get interesting. Let's go to the back mountain now. Bai Shui revealed her mischievous feelings after being forgiven. House Han. Qiu Hao was puzzled. Brother Qiu Hao, you will start practicing in the future, so naturally you will go to the back mountain to practice. Anyway, let's go take a look. Although Qiu Hao was lazy, there was nothing he could do. I have only been in the demon realm for less than half a year, and everything is best done with caution. Although Qiu Hao may have the power of a tough demon clan, it will inevitably cause speculation among the human race. Perhaps after balancing the demon clan, the human race will be his biggest threat. Trees are beautiful in the forest, and the wind will surely destroy them. Now I can only grow step by step, and gradually sort out these complex relationships through my growth experience. Before Qiu Hao left, he vaguely remembered that there was no major conflict between humans and demons. Returning to the demon clan at this moment, the conflict between this person and the demon is like a needle pointing at Meimang, which only makes it difficult for Qiu Hao to understand. As the two slowly walked towards the back mountain, Qiu Hao also learned more about Bai Shui. Qiu Hao showed even more appreciation towards the woman in front of him. Bai Shui, the only daughter of Bai Tingbo. Among peers, their cultivation and talent are even top-notch when viewed above the demon realm. During the period when the demon clan used sugar-coated shells, Bai Tingbo and the Bai family. Even the top-notch family in the demon world naturally receives a lot of resources for nurturing, and the members of the family are thriving and growing astonishingly. There are powerful individuals in the clan who instantly fight against the lord of the demon realm, but they benefit the most and are also the most poisoned. In no time, all the ghost tribes emerged, and the Bai family also fell like a meteorite. Fortunately, the Bai family spared no effort from the entire clan to save Bai Shui. That's how it is. Bai Shui, I'm afraid, is one of the few people who is not affected by ghost energy. When it comes to other people who are not contaminated by ghost energy, they are mostly useless materials that even the demon clan does not want to deal with. With countless thoughts in mind, before Qiu Hao could make any further plans, Bai Shui laughed happily. Ha, brother Qiu Hao, take a look. Take a look. Bai Shui excitedly pointed to the setting sun on the horizon. The setting sun is infinitely beautiful, just approaching dusk, murmured Qiu Hao. Brother Qiu Hao, do you like it? Bai Shui suddenly showed a hint of shyness. This sentence is like a confession, and also like asking about the scenery. Well, it's quite beautiful. Qiu Hao looked at the sunset. The sun is setting in the west, and the heartbroken person is at the end of the earth. Xiaohao's mind echoed silently again. Really? Bai Shui asked. Of course, under the reflection of the sunset, little white snow is even more beautiful. Xiaohao stroked White Snow's head again. Is it just beauty? Bai Shui was unwilling, but did not want to have too much entanglement with Xiaohao, which was also a dilemma. Xiaohao was shocked by this sudden inquiry. Not only beauty. Little white snow, grow up well. Xiaohao seemed to have no idea how to answer, and couldn't help but say something. Then he turned his head and looked elsewhere. Bai Shui lowered her head and stared blankly at the shoes on her feet. No one knows what feelings Bai Shui has in her heart. Under the setting sun, facing this ambiguous atmosphere, their next itinerary was a bit awkward. The two of them seemed to answer each other's question differently. Brother Xiaohao, one day I'm dragging you down. If you want to let go, just let go. Don't worry about me. Bai Shui lowered her head and her words were also drowned out by the sound of water, making them seem like Bai Shui's inner voice, never uttered. Look at those two birds, playing together and taking off. Ha ha ha. Xiaohao seemed to be answering, but he didn't seem to hear it. He just shared what he had seen and heard. Night has finally arrived, and under the cover of the moonlight, the two of them in the mountain seemed to have no need to hide anything, both taking a deep breath in their hearts. Brother Xiaohao, let's go. You must be starving. Let's go to the snack street now. Bai Shui excitedly took Xiaohao and was about to run out. I'm really a bit hungry. Xiaohao nodded, also wanting to escape from this place. Quick, fast, brother Xiaohao, this is my favorite food. And this one is particularly fragrant. Bai Shui arrived at the snack street, like a wild horse running wild, excitedly introducing everything in front of each stall. Okay, here we are. Don't worry, let's take it slow, take it slow. Xiaohao's smile couldn't stop, and he looked even happier at Bai Shui. Under the guidance of Bai Shui, Xiaohao wandered around, and the two of them unconsciously changed their arms they were holding onto to their hands. Huh, you're really full. Bai Shui let out a breath. Just as I was about to lift my dangling hair around my ear, I realized that I was holding a chicken leg in one hand and holding onto Xiaohao tightly in the other. In the blink of an eye, Xiaohao lifted the hair around Bai Shui's ear and looked at her in confusion. Ha ha ha, I can't believe that Snow White is actually an expert, buying things that are cheap and delicious. Xiaohao was unaware of the subtle change in Bai Shui's expression and continued to speak happily. Ah. Ha ha ha. Of course. Bai Shui spoke incoherently. After a pause. I'm not trying to take advantage of you. Xiaohao quickly let go of Bai Shui's hand. It's okay. It's all my fault for being too happy, Bai Shui quickly explained. Xiaohao didn't know how to handle it. Although he had previous experiences of dating girls in reincarnation, he couldn't have been so quick. Moreover, during his 18 years of reincarnation on Earth, he was still addicted to his studies, never in love, and never touched a girl's hand. It's getting late, let's go back first, Xiaohao said softly as he looked at Bai Shui. Bai Shui snorted lightly. After a moment, Xiaohao sent Bai Shui back to his dormitory, and he also walked back to his own dormitory. In a room, a middle-aged man and a woman stand on both sides of the room. He doesn't like me at all, and he won't help me in the future. The speaker's voice was slightly trembling, more mixed with anger. Xiaosheng, all you need to do is make him like you. Our Bai family is counting on you. The person who speaks is the father of Bai Shui, Bai Tingbo. Why do you treat me like this with your own selfishness? He doesn't like it, so let others do it. Why must I do it? Bai Shui still resented. Because you are my daughter, if someone else finds out about this opportunity, they would want Xiaohao's attention even if they break their heads. If you are by his side now, wouldn't that be close to him? Bai Tingbo is somewhat urgent. In recent days, Bai Shui has been accompanying Qiu Hao. Bai Tingbo saw it in his eyes. For a long time, his proud and delicate daughter has always looked like a stranger, and the admiration of many strong figures in the academy has been suppressed by the snow. Faced with countless people with better looks and backgrounds than Qiu Hao, Bai Shui remained indifferent. White Snow's pure physique and noble background were naturally stained by those who had to enter the mainstream. But with a pair of essential eyes, Qiu Hao, who had become accustomed to the nobility, worked as a follower for several days. Today's trip to the snack street was also the result of Bai Shui's inquiry and understanding. He was afraid that Qiu Hao would not like or eat something bad, which really made Bai Shui angry. Although the human race now needs people from the divine realm to save them from water and fire, it is not just that. Moreover, the powerful members of the human race have now reached the 8th level of the Holy Throne and have the capital to compete with the demon race. Bai Shui feels that Qiu Hao is not enough to make her a follower, which makes him despise him like this. Chapter 10. Angry Sword Immortal tries Qiu Hao. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Under the light, the father and daughter never discussed a reason. How can the opposition between humans and demons be as superficial as it appears on the surface? Returning to the dormitory, Qiu Hao took off his clothes and lay in bed pondering. The current plan still needs to find a way to make money. I have also witnessed the scenery of this snack street today, and it seems that I need a large sum of money to support my future life. Nowadays, Qiu Hao, apart from knowing some martial arts, has no way of making money through business operations. Faced with the dilemma, Qiu Hao also felt quite uncomfortable. He didn't know how to survive in the demon world, but he only knew a little about the business of hunting and selling meat. But how should he hunt in this academy? The next morning, Qiu Hao slowly woke up. The difficulty of waking up caused by the earth is deeply rooted, and Qiu Hao struggles in bed for half a day every day. Brother Qiu Hao. Haven't you woken up yet? Bai Shui had already arrived at the entrance of Qiu Hao's dormitory. And the other 3 students on the second floor had already woken up and were about to go out to practice when they saw the daughter of Vice Dean Bai Tingbo in the hall, gently calling out to Qiu Hao to wake up at the door. The 3 of them were all unbelievable. Although there were some rumors about the relationship between Qiu Hao and Bai Shui in the college before, more people believed that it was Qiu Hao flattering Bai Shui. A poor boy, fawning on a wealthy daughter, a timeless drama. But the situation in front of him left the 3 of them frozen in place, afraid to move. Are you still not going to practice? Bai Shui showed her usual expression and looked at the 3 of them calmly. The 3 of them immediately slipped away, leaving only Bai Shui still calling at the door of Qiu Hao. After the 3 of them slipped away, they were all puzzled. Bai Shui was already annoyed and was seen wanting to vent her anger for Qiu Hao's situation. However, she couldn't show anything at the entrance of Qiu Hao's dormitory. If Qiu Hao goes out to practice, it's okay, but if Qiu Hao is in the dormitory, it would be a failure. Why did Bai Shui come to me so early? Qiu Hao finally got up from bed and finished washing up. Ah! Brother Qiu Hao. You're not going to the tool station to find Grandpa Li. Bai Shui opened her mouth in shock. Go ahead. I'll go later, it's still so early. Qiu Hao seemed unaware of the seriousness of the situation, with a sleepy expression on his face. Ah! Another shock erupted from Bai Shui's mouth. Quick, fast. It's too late. If you go, make sure Grandpa Li peels off a layer of skin. Bai Shui immediately picked up Qiu Hao and ran for a while. A few minutes later, Qiu Hao was pulled onto the platform. Ha! Why can't we get in? Qiu Hao looked calm as he was still searching for a way to get in. Bai Shui seemed to know something and quickly patted her forehead. It's over, it's over, it's over. Grandpa Li is angry. We're doomed. Bai Shui stomped her feet anxiously. No way. I don't think Senior Li is that kind of person either. Besides, it's still early today, maybe Senior Li hasn't woken up either. Xiao Hao still calmly comforted Bai Shui. Bastard, said it too late, it was too fast then. A ruler suddenly arrived with a roar. Subsequently, Xiao Hao was beaten to the bottom of the platform. Although the platform was not high, it was knocked down by someone and caused Xiao Hao a lot of pain. Xiao Hao fell to the ground, and Bai Shui immediately dared not make any movements and stood up straight. Those who practice value a day's plan in the morning. Have you too forgotten the shame of the human race by coming so late now? The speaker was none other than Li Xiaosheng, who had not yet woken up as mentioned by Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao, don't you think that you are the chosen son of heaven, so you cannot practice hard or work hard? Don't you think that our human race must be you? How dare you be so lazy? Li Xiaosheng was full of anger and his words were pressing. It made Xiao Hao and Bai Shui feel uneasy. Students dare not. Xiao Hao wanted to explain, but dared not make excuses for his lateness. The pressure that Li Xiaosheng was exerting at this moment also made Xiao Hao sweat for a moment. Li Xiaosheng's pressure naturally couldn't suppress Xiao Hao, but with the pressure of his teacher, Li Xiaosheng shook a student who made a mistake. You two start now, hurry to the back mountain and pick a piece of glass from the mountaintop for me. Ah! Bai Shui was puzzled. The mountaintop behind the mountain can only be reached by people with a rank of 3 or more floors. Although there is nothing unusual about the mountaintop, starting from the mountainside, it is extremely steep, like a silver needle piercing into the sky, with no climbing to speak of. Only those who hold the throne can use the method of holding objects to create a path of passage out of thin air. However, even for those in power, it takes more than half a day to reach the summit. Grandpa Li, Bai Shui began to act coquettishly on a daily basis with a sense of grievance. Don't go yet. Li Xiaosheng clearly didn't like this. Although Bai Shui's coquettishness is very effective, now that Xiao Hao is present, how can Li Xiaosheng end this punishment with just one act of coquettishness? Moreover, he also wanted to see what the essential eye of Xiao Hao could do. The student is going now, Xiao Hao immediately replied respectfully. Subsequently, Xiao Hao gestured for Bai Shui to leave quickly with him. Ha, it scared me to death. Did you see Grandpa Li emerging from somewhere? Bai Shui looked out for a while, then took a long sigh of relief and excitedly asked Xiao Hao. Senior Li, before using his teleportation technique, he threw a blow and then appeared in front of you and me. Xiao Hao remained calm. Ah. All right. Brother Xiao Hao, why do I think you have a heavy heart today? Did Grandpa Li teach you a lesson? Aren't you happy? Bai Shui looked at Xiao Hao's calm face and asked in a suspicious voice. But not really, it's just that I need to find a way to make money now. Xiao Hao looked at Bai Shui. Ah, said my father. Here are 3 gold coins for you, isn't that enough? Bai Shui was shocked. That's 3 gold coins, why do you still need to make money? Although that's the case, there are still Big Dragon brother and Second Feng sister in my family. I have handed over all the gold coins to the 2 of them. Xiao Hao looked ahead and didn't see the embarrassment on Bai Shui's face. Ah. Well, I have an idea like this. Don't worry, Bai Shui immediately changed her expression to one with a clear victory in hand. There's no need to look for the dean, I'm thinking about it. Xiao Hao reached out and touched Bai Shui's head. Ah. I haven't said it yet, how did you know? Bai Shui was puzzled. Xiao Hao turned his head to look at Bai Shui and burst out laughing. What do you think, that little-brained melon? I don't know. Bai Shui suddenly felt a chill in her heart and exclaimed, isn't it that his essential eyes can penetrate the human heart? I. The expression on his face changed for a moment, then turned into shyness. Did you see through all my careful thinking? Humph. Bai Shui pouted. Ha ha ha, I'm not that powerful. Xiaohao was even more joyful as he looked at Bai Shui's expression, making him burst into laughter. The two of them accidentally arrived at the foot of the back mountain. At this time, many students are diligently practicing here in the back mountain. Birds singing, flowing water, sword dancing, and knife playing. Although the sound is heard, the sound is not mixed. The sound echoes, but it does not interfere with each other. A ray of sunshine in the morning also made Xiaohao feel a hint of asceticism, and he wanted to join in the next moment. There are indeed many people, Xiaohao whispered softly. Don't worry, although everyone is practicing here, they all follow the rules and never disturb others, explained Bai Shui. Subsequently, they quietly walked up the mountainside. The back mountain slope, although not high, is also not easy to climb. Xiaohao followed the dragon up the mountain to hunt, which was not a problem. However, under the leadership of Li Xiaosheng, Bai Shui usually flew directly to the mountaintop, which was a rare experience. The two of them looked at the straight mountain wall, lost in thought. Grandpa Li didn't expect such a big fire to break out. How about I go beg Grandpa Li again? He would have agreed to my request before. Bai Shui looked at the mountain wall and turned to look at Xiaohao. No need, Senior Li is naturally not a person without rules and regulations. There must be his purpose for this trip, and besides, today is my fault first, which has implicated you. How can I be afraid of everything? Xiaohao looked at the mountain peak. This mountain may seem unattainable, but it has a different world, said Xiaohao. What do you mean? There is a hole in this mountain that leads directly to the top of the mountain. Bai Shui asked Xiaohao anxiously and pleasantly. Ha ha ha, you little white snow. You're quite good at thinking. Where did I say it had a hole? You, said Xiaohao as he habitually touched White Snow's head. Okay. So what should we do? Both of us are on the 5th floor, how can we climb to the top of the mountain? Bai Shui was puzzled. I have a solution. Come with me, Xiaohao said. He took Bai Shui's hand and walked forward.